This is the M1 Carbine banana clip 30 round magazine. This was actually an extremely popular rifle, especially in the 60s before the AR platform got popular. World War II, they used the M1 Grand, and they used this is the civilian commercial version of it, but also the GI version of the M1 Carbine. Use these little 30 caliber, they're 110 grain or 100 grain rounds. This is the only one I had to load with either Hodgdon 110 or Winchester 296. Now, a lot of times people have problems sometimes with feeding problems with the magazines. You notice I got the spring basically out of this, but I want to show you something about you just take the plate off the bottom. It slips off. You got a little clip on there. You get a knife underneath there, and you wedge a screwdriver, and you push this forward, and the spring pops out. First, you have to have the spring in the right way, but I want to point out something about, a lot of people know about that, but if you want to look at this follower here, so here's the follower. See, if I press down on the back of the follower, you notice how the whole thing just goes straight down when I'm pressing on the back of it. You actually have to make some adjustments. Not only to the spring has to be in the right way, but you might have to make some adjustments to this follower. See, because if the rounds aren't picked up in the back here, the round will be in here like this, right? So the bolt's got to come forward and push it off and slide it off. Well, if this follower is not pressing up from the back, and it's not like exactly perpendicular to this magazine, if it's got some kind of room to come up a little crooked where the back edge of it can go down, well, then you can have some feeding problems, or maybe even like the next round's feeding, the other ones isn't ejected. There's a lot of crazy. It's usually the magazines, and a lot of people say, "Oh, try another magazine," but usually you could fix the magazine, and it's this follower, right? So when I'm pressing down the back of this follower, it's going straight down. It's nice and smooth, no problem, right? Now, so you take the spring out. The other thing is you got to make sure you got the spring in the right way. If you have it, this part of the spring points to the back of the magazine, because you want to make sure the back, sometimes you put springs in backwards. That is fairly well known not to do that. You put it in this way, you're going to have a problem. You put it in this way. The other thing is, I like to bend up this last one right here to make it like it's a little more of an angle, and you can see this bend right here, right? This bend right here, this last one, it's a little higher on this, so it's got a little more pressure on the back. Now I'm going to take out this follower. If you look on the follower, you got the angle here. This has got to be about a 90-degree bend. You can't have it too far. If you have this bent out like this more, then this is going to come up like either straight or like that. It'll have some play in there. So when it's coming up in there, like, and this is like such a simple problem. So many people miss this though. If it comes up like that, just a little bit, it might catch the round, it might not catch the round, depending on, how the position is in here, because you don't want this to have some kind of play where this can go like this or like that. So the way to get this so it's nice and square in here, you see this little lip right here? There's a little bit of a lip right on the end. You see that clearly. There's a little bit of a curve on the end. You want to have this at a 90-degree angle, and then you want to bend this lip out so it makes full contact, exactly full contact with the magazine inside, so it rides straight up like that. Then it works. Then they work a lot better. There's a couple other things I'm probably going to go over it on other videos, what to go over on this thing. I have some of the tools for this thing, but you really don't need to take this bitch apart much. And I don't take these magazines apart much either. But you can get sometimes people say, well, get the magazine that's, you know, in the, what do you call it? Get the magazine that's in the wrapper, GI version, all that kind of crap. Yeah, that might work too. I mean, sure, but then again, you know, you might not have, it might not be the whole problem, because a lot of the GI versions, you see, this is like a lost art, because a lot of times people, they haven't been messing with this weapon in a long time. Okay, so to put the magazine back together, you can see the follower goes up and down even when I press it on the back. It does not. Let's see if I press the back right here. You can see it goes, it doesn't cant. It goes nice and straight up and down. That's what you want. A lot of times they're adjusted so, and you can't have them too tight in there that they don't follow up and down. They got to be just right. But 90% of the time, the magazine's not bad. It just needs a slight adjustment. And people in World War II and the Korean War, they knew all about this stuff, you know. It's kind of been forgotten. There's other things that you might have to do with this rifle too, but I'm going to actually go over some of that in probably another little video. But simple stuff. It's not bad, man. This thing is actually cheap to shoot too. It's got a little more recoil than the AR because you're not using that buffer tube system, but it's reliable. It's cheap to load though, because I think don't quote me on this because it depends on what round you use. You use either 100 grain or 110 grain, but it's usually about 15 grains of Hodgdon 110. That's your powder. Like where if you're running a 223 or 5.56, you'll be using about 23 point something grains of say Hodgdon 335. That's what I like using anyway. I don't like using too many different types of powder. This one I had to use either Hodgdon 110 or 296, which works on the Magnum pistol, because basically this is kind of like a Magnum pistol, a 30 caliber Magnum pistol. That's really what the hell it is. I'll show you what the weapon is itself. Yeah, this is the weapon. Actually, this is a stainless steel version with a folding stock. It's got a nice little, it doesn't have like the paratrooper stock where it's like two steel rods coming out. This is a lot nicer to shoot. It's got a nice little rubber butt plate on there. It's all stainless steel. Instead of having wood up here, it's got stainless steel. There's your 30 round banana clip. To take it off safe, you flip it this way. Just like on your M1 Garand, you press, you got the safety inside the trigger, you take that out. This one's a little different in some ways. The safety's a little different. Sometimes, if you look at this, you might think it's just the opposite, but it's actually that way. So, but this one's got the pistol grip on it, folding stock. It's got the peep sights in the back, and we got our M1 Garand type sling, which I use these slings on every rifle. I use them on lever actions, it doesn't matter, pump action, bolt action. That's the same kind of sling on every freaking rifle. I don't get anything fancy. And plain Jane. But this is kind of nice because of being in stainless steel. You don't have to worry about the damn rust. But I wanted to point this out about the magazines. I'm probably going to go over a couple other issues with this rifle that are very easy to remedy without actually going to town with any armor or tools, which I got a couple of them for this thing. Back in the 60s, everybody, well, back even in the 50s and the 60s, pretty much this was the popular thing to shoot, because the M1 Garand was more money. The ammunition on this was less money to shoot. The rifle itself was very cheap to buy, and they had the civilian commercial versions, which is this is the civilian commercial version. This is not the GI version, obviously. So, but that's usually the problem, where it's not like you got to buy another magazine. Pay very careful attention to that follower. That follower's got to be in there the right width with that little lip to fill up this, but not so much that it's tight. And that end of it's got to be at a 90 degrees, so when you press on the back of that follower, it doesn't cant in the bottom of the rifle like this. Because if it does that, it's going to start not picking up rounds sometimes on the next shot. It's a real simple fix most of the time. It's not that you got to get GI springs and you know, a lot of times if the springs are a little weak, I stretch them out a little bit. I don't buy new springs. As a matter of fact, I do that on an AR-15, or I did it in the military on my M16s. I used to stretch out the spring a little bit. You know, nobody's going to give me a new spring. I freaking pulled out take the thing, I'd stretch it out, but you got to be careful how much you stretch it out, just a little bit. So then it gives it a hell of a lot more life. They tell you it's got so many rounds of life. I could make that thing last probably 1,000,000 rounds. So anyway, I just figured to pass this on. It's a simple tip. Kind of like this rifle. This was considered a survival rifle many years ago. Stainless steel, synthetic stock, folds up. You can put it in a backpack. The ammunition's a little underpowered, but you can carry a lot of it. And it's simple. There's not much to it. It's very simple to operate and use. Right, Goldie? What are you doing there, buddy? He's eating his Mr. Meow Meow food, man. Yeah, he's eating his Meow Mix. Yeah, this is my desert. This is my desert camouflage cat. I got one desert camouflage cat. That's what we call him, Goldie. He's got a nice honey bear golden Q, so he blends in pretty good with the desert. So that's this guy.